Howdy folks, Jamboree here and welcome to another episode of Jamboree Cinema, the podcast series where I talk about films that have hit UK theatres. In this episode, I'll be discussing the Angry Birds Movie 2. Red is now incredibly famous and beloved on Bird Island, recognised as a hero for protecting everyone from the pigs. But when the pigs' leader Leonard offers a truce, Red feels that his public affection is now at threat. We discover that there's another island out there called Eagle Island, helmed by the diabolical Zeta, who wants to turn the other islands into her own private resorts because Eagle Island is just so cold. Red must band together with a variety of pigs and birds in order to break into Eagle Island's headquarters and stop Zeta's evil plans. Now, I personally wasn't that fond of the original Angry Birds movie. I thought its script suffered from cliché ideas, predictable paper-thin storytelling, and hit-or-miss comedy. So I was pleasantly surprised by this film. While it does have some of the same problems as its predecessor, it's certainly an improvement in many ways. For starters, it's consistently funny this time. It got me laughing out loud very frequently. It was rare for a joke to not land for me. The comedy is very silly, but in a creative, fun way, constantly adding a goofy setup or great punchline to mission tasks. From Chuck using post-it notes to trick the dumb guards that everything is fine on the security cameras, to Bomb being told to take out the guards, which is built up as this tense hit out on these eagles, but is revealed to simply be Bomb taking all of them out for drinks. There's also a subplot involving a bunch of chicks trying to save some eggs, and while this subplot doesn't really connect to the main story until the very end, these scenes are ridiculously funny and cute. I'm not kidding, it's quite clever and imaginative how the film keeps trying to find ways to stop the chicks from getting the eggs. Of course, the comedy isn't without its faults. Much like the first film, the comedy can sometimes get too lowbrow, most notably in a scene where characters play with and eat pig snot. It's more tastelessly gross than funny. Like a lot of Sony animation films, there's also a heavy dependence on random out-of-nowhere dance sequences, which are usually excuses for playing recognizable pop songs, while the story comes to a halt in favor of goofy dancing. There's even the tired old breakdance battle, which pits heroes and villains against each other in a pointless hip-hop dance-off. I know animating dancing characters can be fun, but have some self-restraint and put the story first. However, the solid clever jokes luckily outnumber the desperate unfunny ones. I also liked the film's sense of camaraderie, with the focus being on the importance of everyone working as a team, despite their differences. The movie is very earnest and sincere about this theme. I did appreciate the lengths it went to sell home a lesson on the value of shared credit, that not everything is a one-person effort. I'll admit that Red was a bit too egocentric this time though. What I liked about him in the first film was that he could be cynical and grouchy, but he still showed compassion to others when push came to shove. In this sequel, the focus is on Red's insecure fears of being abandoned once no longer recognized as Bird Island's star hero, which mainly means watching him act like a selfish, boastful jerk. While this does serve the purpose of the movie's lesson, it also makes Red a rather obnoxious character until he changes towards the end. I did also notice that not everyone in the team is well defined. Sure, Bomb is the demolitions expert, Chuck is the speed demon, Red is the self-appointed leader, and Chuck's sister Silver is the brains behind mission tasks. But the rest? They're kind of tag-alongs for the most part, very rarely getting a moment to shine or demonstrate a unique contribution. There's also a blossoming romance between Silver and Red, which is a decent relationship, founded on Silver's compassion for Red's hidden feelings and Red's growth to accepting others as his partner. But it's still kind of a cliché romance, with the two mainly bickering for most of the film until they finally let the tension translate into something romantic, the usual template for most Hollywood love stories. Zeta makes for a pretty fun villain, being an intimidating diva who refuses to take no for an answer. Her sassy flamboyance keeps the film's energy going, plus her motive for evil stemming from heartbreak helps inspire a good lesson about how not to handle a breakup. We also get some amusing soap opera style twists once her lover comes back to her. but I honestly think that the best thing about this movie is its comedic animation. Not only does the film find humor in the ice physics of Eagle Island, using the climate's frozen surfaces to create wacky physical slapstick, but the team also disguise themselves inside an eagle puppet called Harvey. The animation for this puppet is downright hilarious, with the animators fully embracing the physical limitations of the puppet and finding comedy gold in the miscommunication between all the puppeteers. I think I laughed the loudest in the cinema whenever the movie focused on Harvey's puppet antics. It's just so naturally funny and creatively silly. To conclude, even though the Angry Birds Movie 2 shares a few of the same problems as the original, and is not exactly Sony Animation's finest work, it's still a huge improvement on what came before it. Most importantly, it's a really funny and entertaining comedy, one that kept me laughing hard frequently, with only a few minor gags being tedious to watch. I had low expectations for this film, seeing as I didn't really like the original all that much, so it's awesome how this sequel took me by surprise and gave me an unexpectedly good time for what it is. I've been Jamboriki and I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, then feel free to like, subscribe, and share. Cheerio, folks!